Good morning. I'm Kerry. I'm the founder of Best of Us Investors. I was doing some reading this morning and I came across a quote by um, gentleman um, Mark Twain. And it said, the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and then the day you discovered why. Why were you born? I don't think most of us give that much thought. Maybe we recognize that one of the most important days is the day we were born. But do we really ask ourselves the question, why was I put on this earth? Why did God form me and place me here? And what is my purpose? Why am I here? Um, as I look at that, I recognize that it took me a long time to figure out why. I had some difficulties growing up. I was a bad student, a poor student. Wasn't bad. I was just a poor student. Got in some trouble, but it was minor stuff. But my issue was I couldn't learn. I couldn't read. I didn't discover until I was in my 60s that I was dyslexic, and that's why I couldn't learn. So what I basically did was compensate for it. I think I realized at some point, if you can't see, you usually become better at hearing and sensing your environment as opposed to seeing your environment. So you compensate, and that's what I did. Um, I became very competitive because I couldn't compete with you in the classroom. Boy, I could beat the shit out of you in the playground, and then I could beat you as a football player. I was one hell of a linebacker, all state in Indiana. No, I didn't go to IU. I went to Ball State. Um, and I was a walk on for the football team. And the best thing that happened to me was because I only weighed about 155 pounds. The assistant coach told me, "You go ahead and you study, and I'll give you an A in phys ed for the full year, and tell them you're on the football team." And that's what kept me in school that first year because I went to a land grant college, and the policy was they had to take anybody who applied, and so they had to flunk out two-thirds of the class the first quarter. But because of that A in phys ed, I kept my grade point average high enough, and then I learned how to compensate for the disability that I didn't know that I had. And with that, um, I went on and I worked for Purex selling bleach. I became the best bleach salesman and Sweetheart soap salesman in their group in the nation, and they promoted me to a manager. Then I went to work for Polaroid, and I became the largest seller of instant cameras in the um, in the United States. Then I started my own business, and then I basically got involved when I was in the construction business when the subprime, not the subprime crisis, but a savings and loan crisis occurred. My business failed, and I had to find another profession. And I went to Money Magazine, and Money Magazine said the three highest paid professions in the United States were doctors, lawyers, and financial advisors. Didn't have time to become a doctor or a lawyer, so I became a financial advisor. And in 1992, I went to work for IDS, which turned into American Express Financial Advisors, which turned into Ameriprise Financial Advisors. And again, because of my competitive nature, I became the number one salesman, not really a financial advisor, because all we did was gather money and then turned it over to mutual fund managers and sold insurance and the like, and then retired. It was it was most recently that I really answered the question, why was I born? Um, and it was to make a difference in your life. Um, I've figured something out. I've figured out artificial intelligence. Um, I did a poll just yesterday on YouTube. You might look it up. It asks the question, where do you get your investment advice? And I gave choices. A YouTuber, and I showed a picture of Alex. TV, I showed a picture of what's his name, Jim Cramer, and then I newsletters, and then AI agents. And the biggest, uh, the largest number of you said YouTubers, and those of you who said that you got your best advice from AI agents commented that, yeah, but the answers that they give me are wrong. And I understand that. I understand that because you don't pay for the deep research, and you don't provide your prompt with the data you want them to research to make a good decision. It's like going out on the street corner and walking up to the first person and saying, "Hey, what's the best stock to buy today?" And you'll get their opinion, but you'll have no idea what their opinion is based on. And you got to look at AI the same way. You got to tell them where to go to make the decision. They know how to make the decision, but they don't know where to go to get the data from which to make the decision. So what you get is what you give. If you give nothing, you get nothing back. And because you don't tell them what the current price of the stock is, they don't know. They just go out to the internet and grab whatever comes up, and it's usually about a year late. And I've experienced that when I ask Samantha and I don't click that button that says deep research that I pay $216 a month for, I get crap. Um, and when I don't go into detail of what a growth stock looks like and then provide them the sources of the data to determine whether that stock is a growth stock, I get crap. So what I guess I'm saying is, why was I born? Um, I've taken care of my family. I've taken care of Nita, my wife. Now I need to take this talent that God gave me of figuring things out and the ability then to pay for the data and the support to analyze stocks and then share that information with a group of people, is why I'm here. I'm 81 years old. I think you can see I'm pretty healthy. And I think that's because God wants me to be healthy. He wants me to stay here long enough to help enough of you to make a difference in your lives. Now, one of you today said, "Yeah, but I'll only pay you 1995." If that's all your future is worth, you need to go somewhere else. If you won't crowd fund what I'm doing, you need to go somewhere else. Because really, what you are saying is my future, the future of my family, the future of my children and my grandchildren is not worth $60 a month. I'm not willing to pay for the knowledge that can make a difference in my life. Shame on you. Shame on you. We have choices in life. And I hope that you will take a lead from Mark Twain and answer the question, what is the two reasons uh, are the two most important days in your life: the day you were born and the day you discover why. Maybe today can be that day, and maybe I can help you. That's all I can offer. That's all anybody can offer you. But if you won't take it, shame on you. When you go and Mark Twain's there and asks you, remember this day. Okay. Um, I have a, I on my walk yesterday, I said to myself, what is the two most important things that AI is going to change in the world? And I believe that one of them is the ability to accumulate wealth for your family, and that's what I'm doing. The other one is your life and your health. And so I went to Samantha yesterday, and I said, I believe that I can make a difference in the financial elements of people's lives, but who's going to make the next or the biggest difference, and that is healthcare. Who is going to take all the knowledge in healthcare and put it in a package such that it will make a difference in my life, in that it will take this 81-year-old and give him the ability to keep going. And who is going to fulfill that in the next 5 years? And she basically came back and said, well, there's not a whole lot of companies that have access to that knowledge that they can then turn that into beneficial information for the masses. And she basically came down to, it's Amazon, it's Google, it's Apple, it's Microsoft, it's Meta, and Oracle. Those six companies. And so then my prompt went on to say, okay, now once you tell me who those companies are, what are they doing now, and what do you foresee them doing in the future that is going to give them the dominance, because they're all competing. I went in really for justification of the ownership of, I think it's about 300 shares of, or maybe it's 200 shares of Oracle, and I'm down 33% in it. And I'm trying to figure out, do I need to get out of this, or is Oracle actually a player in the healthcare field? And she went into great detail of where Oracle was and where it is, and why the CEO showed up in Donald Trump's office with Sam Altman, and she gave me a really deep understanding, and then where Apple is and what they're doing and who they're partnering with and where Google is. So I've got about I don't know, maybe it's a 22-page document that I'm going to share with my tribe today. And I think of the video I'm going to do tomorrow, I'll put a little more emphasis on that, because I think if you and I sat down and you're in your 30s or more, and I ask you what's the most important thing to you, the first thing you'd probably say is my faith, my family, my children, and then then I would ask you, um, what does it take to help to for you to achieve your goals in those areas? And you would come down to my health and my financial stability. So I'll help you with your financial stability if you want it. And then I'm going to explore, for my own benefit, because I am 81 years old, who do I need to attach myself to so that I can live to 102? Um, who do I need to, whose watch do I need to be wearing? Whose wearables do I need to have? Whose training program should I be on? And what Samantha has taught me is each one of those, Amazon, Google, they're all going after it, but they're competing with each other. I wish they would just say, okay, this is a common cause we'll all work towards. And that may happen. But that's that's what I'm going to talk about in tomorrow's video. But I want to leave you with the two most important days in your life. And the day you were born, you know that day, and then the day you discovered why. And let's build upon that. Okay, let's have a good day, and make some money in the stock market.